I'm going to show how to disassemble and reassemble a Ruger SP101. I believe that the process is the same with GP100, but don't quote me on that because I don't have one. But I think that they're the same. All you need is one flat-headed screwdriver. Micro screwdriver is all you need. First, check the gun's unloaded. First step is to take the grip panels off. It's just one screw. And the screw will come right out pretty easily. Hang up there. Alright, screw comes out. Panels come out pretty easy. If not, just flex the grip a little bit and they'll pop out. Now what you have, which I just lost, is there's a little slot right here with a little brass pin in it. You're going to need that. I'll show you how in a minute. Keep that on the table. Alright, there's a little pin pushing through, holding on the rubber grips. You push that out and slip this right off. Okay, what that little brass pin was for, you're going to need now is it will hold the main spring down, the hammer spring. So what you got to do is you got to cock it. And there's a little slot down in here, a little hole right there at the bottom of this spring. And you slide that pin through. Once it's lined up evenly on both sides, slowly decock the hammer. And that will hold the spring in tension. And what that'll do is it will allow you to pull this straight out. And the next step is you have to take this little pin out here. It goes all the way through to this, and you just want to get under it like this. You pull it out, and that holds the hammer on. Take it out, and then the hammer will come right out eventually. There we go. Alright, now to get the rest of the gun apart, what you have to do is you have to locate this little pin right here. And there's a hole on the back side of the grip frame. What that's for is for putting a screwdriver through it and putting pressure on that. What you're going to want to do is put pressure on that and kind of push it down a little bit with the screwdriver. Carefully, not to slip or scratch. Push in. Okay. Now push down a little bit. You'll see a little bit of a crack starting to form right here. That's your trigger group, and it just give it a tug, comes right out. At this point, you can take this thing apart and clean it more, but you really don't want to. You want to leave it together because there's a lot of little springs and indent springs and stuff in there. And you know, I've had it apart where I've lost a spring and it took me forever to figure it back out. So just keep that all together and don't mess with it at all. And you can clean that the way it is. Now what you gotta do is open up your cylinder with the release button, and this whole crane will come right out. And then you can take the cylinder right off. And this part right here, you definitely want to clean that. That's one of the biggest things that needs to be cleaned on a Revolver that a lot of people forget about. You know, I'll even use you know, metal polish and stuff on stuff like that and clean it. So now it's disassembled. You can clean it. I like to clean the cylinders, chambers real well while it's separated, and then you got your frame. It's a real simple design, but it can be a little tricky to take apart and put back together. So now we're going to put it back together. First thing is to slip your cylinder back onto the cranes and push this back into place. Very simple. Didn't even have to tell you that, really. Now what you're going to want to do is put your trigger group back in. And this is the trickiest part. I don't know why it's so tricky, but it is. And it's not so much that there's specific steps that are tricky, it's just tricky. What you want to do is you want to put your transfer bar up a little bit like this, so that it lines up in here like this. You know, if it's sitting all the way back, it ain't going to slide in right, you know. Put it up like this, and just slip this in, Now you want to hook the front of the trigger guard up there, and now from underneath the grip frame, push this little pin back in carefully, and while you're pushing pressure on the bottom. And this time it went right in, no problem, and you'll know it because it's totally flush on this line. Sometimes it doesn't want to do that, and I have no answers to why. You have to pull it back out again and try many other times to get it to go in. But this time it worked. Next thing, basically just put your hammer back in. You'll see where the hole lines up right in the hammer, and you'll see a hole right there, and you'll see daylight right through it. And just put your pin back in the way it was. You have to kind of manipulate this a little bit until it lines up, and got it lined up. Now basically after that you're putting your spring back in, and the little hook part here looks like two little teeth that goes forward, and it sets on this little ledge right here. So you put your little teeth on that ledge after you've put this up in it. It's lined up now. I'm going to push it forward so it's not back like this, but up like this. Give the hammer a little cock back. While it's like that, just tilt it. That little brass pin comes out. There you go. Now it's pretty much 99% assembled. Now just put your grip back on. All you gotta do, slip it back on, take that aluminum or steel, whatever that is, pin, put it in place. Flip it on the side, and that little slot, put your brass pin back in. The right grip panel on. And from the correct side, put your screw back in. Make sure to use a well-fitting screwdriver head on this. You don't want something that's going to be tearing up your screw, and turn it to about 80% of what you can turn a screw to, and then stop. You don't want to over tighten it, but you want it tight enough to work. And that's all there is to disassembling and reassembling a Ruger SP101, and I believe it's the same for the GP100. So thanks for watching.